everyone and welcome to a new video from Your Overwatch. I'm Eddie the Chump and today we're going to be talking about the strongest ability in the game. Right now. As always with Overwatch, metas shift and churn, making heroes that were once at the very height of Mount Meta fall down in the pecking order, while at the same time pushing less picked heroes out of the niche pick shade and into the glorious sunshine of era-defining prominence. The best ability in Overwatch right now is Ana's Bionade, and more specifically, its anti-nade form. The reasons for this are numerous, and that's what we'll be exploring today. I'll be showing some clips from pro matches and my own elite diamond level footage to illustrate just why we think it's so good. So get yourselves comfortable as we're going to dive straight in. Okay, go! Firstly, I want to show you just how devastating anti-nade can be in the right place at the right time. Take a look at this clip from the very recent World Cup match between the USA and Austria. Here USA are defending on King's Row and they're using dive tanks with a triple support and a disrupt pick in Sombra. Austria are running full Goats comp, the fast triple tank support comp with a Lucio, Brigitte and Moira that's become very popular. Keep in mind the thing about tank heavy lineups, and this has been true in many earlier metas as well, is that the utility keeping them alive and brawling, the sustain heals, is also where they're exploitable. Now what Austria want to do is make it to point and force the USA to fight them as they cap, a scenario in which they're heavily favoured. But the USA don't fight them immediately. They actually stay out of line of sight for the most part by statue, not taking unnecessary damage. All apart from Zen and Ana, who are on high ground at the back. They wait until a very key moment, and that's when Moth unleashes the fattest of anti-nades from top window, hitting at least 5 members of the Austrian team. Then it's go time and they engage. Austria's brawl comp can't sustain itself without that vital healing and are soundly beaten in the team fight. This is the power of anti-nade. One cooldown in the right place at the right time, fight, win, GG. It's even better from the replay where you see Moth's perspective. Every anime dreams of hitting antis like that, such is their potency. This wait for anti to hit then engage tactic is all over the pro scene right now. Fusion University, who just recently won the NA Contenders Finals against XL2, use it all the time to facilitate their dive comps. But it's not just the pros and this perfect use of it. Anti-nade is strong in so many other smaller ways too, and at many different ranks. That's why we think it's the best. Press E to win. One of Bionade's easiest and most effective uses is in just hitting a few targets at the start of a team fight. You don't need to be hitting 5-man nades all the time to get value. Think about how enemy main tanks can become very exploitable as they try to take space. Take a Rhine v Rhine battle, a very common occurrence in a lot of matches. At some point, a hammer is going to get swung by someone. When that shield comes down, that is your opportunity to completely ruin their life. A matchmaking tank who can't get heals is, how do I put this politely, oftentimes as good as dead. When that happens, it can be GG team fight. Your Rhine getting pinned can even work in your favour if they don't die to the pin. You can just heal nade them, which likely anti-heals the enemy Rhine unless a clutch Zarya bubble comes in, and suddenly the opposing Rhine is facing dire consequences for actually hitting an ability. One button is all it can take and it's not that hard to do. I'll just remind you, Ana's nade comes back every 10 seconds and isn't limited to just healing or anti-healing. It often does both, as I said, as well as making Ana herself harder to kill under pressure when thrown at her own feet, even if that is not its most productive use. It's just so dexterous and contextual, that's why we rate it so highly. What other ability can do all the things that Bionade can? Sometimes all at once. Nothing is that good. You could say McCree's Flashbang has a sharper edge. If it hits, the target is usually dead. The same thing goes for Brigitte's Shield Bash. But can either of those consign an entire team to possible death in an instant? In a game that has some amazingly strong abilities like Infinite Stealth, Insta-Kill Rocket Punches, Hamster Mech Pile Drivers, and Storm Arrows, Bionade is currently queen because of how potent it can be and the amount of places it can get its value from. This despite the fact that the ability hasn't been changed that much since it was originally nerfed way back in the old triple tank era. So how has this happened? How can an ability that hasn't changed become so strong? Well, Overwatch is an ever-changing landscape and it has to do with other hero fluctuations around Ana and her nade than it does the ability itself. Support meta. So for the longest time, Mercy's res dominated the game. Despite what some players might have said, as long as she had mid-fight res, it didn't really matter what Blizzard did to Valkyrie. The reason for that was, res was essentially an ultimate on a cooldown. A long one, sure, but still a basic cooldown. Every 30 seconds, you could bring someone back from the dead, and depending on what hero that was and the timing of it, you could easily change the course of a fight. You can find out a lot about an ability's Mercy's strength by the fact that instead of picking something to counter it, everyone just agrees that you have to have that ability on your team, so everyone just mirror picks it. Mercy's res power changed how the game was played. Everything slowed down, DPS that needed pocketing like McCree became more frequent, and ranged pick-off damage became the premium. Widow in particular was everywhere, Hanzo too. Now in that era, Ana didn't get much of a look in. Her kit was never terrible, it was always quite strong in isolation actually, but picking Ana in the Mercy meta meant giving up either res, which 99% of the time could almost automatically lose you a match if your opponents did have it, or giving up Zen's Discord, which was almost just as important. She wasn't unusable, but not where she is now, not even close. Then all those support changes came through. Mercy's overall healing was nerfed, Ana received a significant buff to her nano ultimate, and changes to other heroes like Sombra, Zarya, Lucio and Hanzo have created a meta where Ana's impactful kit is more advantageous to a team, while at the same time Mercy's is harder to implement. What good is one res against the fast brawling comps like Goats for example? Let's actually talk about the new nano for a moment as well while we're here. Nano now heals its target for 300 HP on activation. This is obviously useful on low health targets of any health pool size, but it's particularly great when used on a tank. When Mercy reses, she essentially nullifies all the resources it took to eliminate that target. That in itself can be a big swing factor. Enemy cooldowns or off angles would have been effectively eaten or revealed. Well, new nano can perform a similar function. When used on a main tank that's low health and the enemy are trying to focus them down, nano can virtually res them from certain death, especially when combined with a bio nade. If you nano a Rhine who's low health after hitting him with a nade, his health is completely restored. If there were targets around him at the time, they were likely hit with anti-heals as well. Suddenly your tank goes from just about to die to swinging his way to victory. That's a massive change in fight momentum. Yes, it has to do with the improvements to nano, but also how Bionade interacts with that. It's difficult for Mercy res to compete with this new Ana impact, and as such, she's not as favoured. And in a meta where Ana is strong and picked a lot, the strengths of anti-nade itself come to be meta-defining. Even a diamond scrub like me can take advantage of it, as you've seen in a lot of the footage from today. If you're an Ana player, let me know in the comments if you agree with me about anti-nade. Even if you don't play her and you don't think it's as strong as I make out, let us know why. Is there any other ability you guys think is stronger? I'll take some convincing. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a rating. If you never want to miss another video of ours again, please click the bell icon next to the subscribe button on our channel to join the notification squad. You'll be in great company. And finally, please follow the Your Overwatch Twitter. It's where you can find updates about new videos and other cool stuff. I've been Eddie the Chump, and until next time.